All right, thanks for joining into these live streams, which are a great big experiment, not just for me personally to get some more skills in the area, but also just to see if there's interest in the topics we talk about and how much more we should do around these things is always something I'm interested in hearing from you in the comments. So this will be a short episode compared to some of our other ones, which are going to be more interviews. This one's just a quick overview and kind of an announcement of the new book that we just released this week. It's also a short episode because I've been really sick this week. So I'm your host, Tyler Mitchell. I'm the founder and publisher of Locate Press, which Gary Sherman also ran, which now I run. So we've worked together on growing this company and over the last 10 years, or I guess we're into year 11 probably now. So one of the primary goals that I had taking over the company was, or not goals, but just the thing that I needed to do the most was really important is to get more new authors and more new titles out on more new topics. So this is an exciting opportunity for us because when I first met Mark online, I was reading some of his writings about how he brought open source technology into the GIS workflows of the workplaces he'd been working at, how it had helped them save money, how it helped build his professional toolkit. And there's been a lot of changes, even just in that last year or two, in his own career and tools. So we're going to talk about that in another interview. But what excited me about it was he didn't follow any kind of prescribed career path. And those of us who got into open source GIS before it was really popular know that it was a bit of a slog, and you definitely felt rebellious. You'd go to a talk, maybe you'd go to your local GIS user meeting, and you'd hear somebody else talk about, oh, I used this library to convert data. Wait, what? What library was that? Or I used this web mapping framework that nobody else in the audience had ever heard of, but you had heard of because you'd been using it. So while we've typically published technical books on specific pieces of software, this book is our first deviation really from that. Although we have several books teaching about GIS concepts in general, especially the On the Way with GIS, which are for younger students to help teach the fundamentals without necessarily just teaching the technology as the end goal. So with this book, Mark digs more into the experience that he's had over 25 years in his career as a GIS analyst. I'd say GIS master now, because you have to arrive somewhere, right? But he goes through a lot of his journey in this book. We release these books as previews once we've got a couple chapters ready to go, so that you can dive in and start to see if you'd be a book that you'd be interested in buying when it comes out for full price and full size. So these preview books are usually less than $10. This one's $5 right now. And the anytime you get a sale coupon, you can use it to get it cheaper. And you can get those sale coupons through exclusive discounts through our newsletter. If you go to locatepress.com/subscribe, you can subscribe to our newsletter there. And they really are exclusive deals. Usually it's 5 to 10% higher savings on coupons that we offer there versus what we offer the public. So it's actually very important for us to keep in touch with you as well. I think that's all the preamble that I had to talk about, but it's the first new book for us this year, which is really important because we have almost a dozen other new authors and related titles coming out this year. As we're going to get as many of them out this year as we can. Those will be the year where we have produced more books than we have in several years combined, if we can really get it done. So it's really exciting for me. What I want to do next is just dig into a little bit of the outline of this preview book. And then in our interview with Mark, we'll go through a bit more of the actual table of contents of the full book, because the topics that are covered are a little broader than the topics covered in this preview book. Hopefully you can read that. The preview on my screen's a little fuzzy, But basically, there's two main chapters in this book. What is GIS, and what is open source and proprietary software? Now, we're trying to come at it from an angle of that those people who want to get into GIS or want to adjust their GIS career in some way, it's helpful to have a bit of a base level kind of foundational concepts, including the job titles and roles, which he goes through briefly here, and also just what the career paths are in general for different GIS types of users. I'll just call them GIS users, although obviously there's different roles like analysts and technicians and more. They will be laid out in the book, giving you an idea of, well, if I take this career path, here's the kinds of work that I'll be doing. We also drop into talking just about what GIS is, definition of what it is, and how it's used in general. These are the first chapter is about 15 pages long. I should say it's chapter 2 on the screen here, is about 15 pages long. So it's not an in-depth step-by-step career path, but a description of general direction that people take, especially as they're working towards open source GIS concepts. Chapter 3 here, what is open source and proprietary software, is a quick primer for those who want to know what is open source software, why is it different than maybe software they've been using at school or in their workplace already, how can it help them. We'll cover some of the very common topics like how much money can I save using open source software? Well, if there's no calculator in there, I'm afraid. But the idea that there's free and then there's no cost and these different concepts we touch a little bit on in there. And then the rest of chapter 3 digs into understanding what proprietary software is, and then we wrap it up with the concept of commercial software as well, which is a bit of an enigma for some people and a misnomer for some people, and depending on how they use the concept. So this is the intro to the whole book with these 2 chapters. The remaining chapters, which there is at least 10 more that we will include in here. And if you're signed up subscribed to our list, you'll get a coupon code when the final version's released, and you'll be able to save a few dollars on the full version for supporting this early work. This is a deviation from, like I say, from our other books. Let's go through a few pages here. This is all text. This is all in-depth information that's been pulled together by Mark over many years and now put into a format that's a little more accessible for you than having to go read 1,000 blogs. And we hope that this will be appealing for those of you that are interested in less technical concepts or that want to have something to give to someone to help them understand what this open source stuff is all about. So that's Mark's book. It's now available on the website. Our website is locatepress.com. I had a preview of that here. And it's just an ebook at this point. We don't do the paper print books until the full book is complete. Obviously, wouldn't be much to be in this book, although this is a 50-page book in our ebook kind of small 6x8 format that we use. When we print books, we print them a little larger, and so they'll be able to handle the hundreds of pages that we expect to have in this final work. If you're already kind of familiar with our work, you'll know that we sell our books through our printed books through Amazon. This is not talking about Mark's book, but in general, we've launched a store that allows you to actually order books directly from us. When you order books from Amazon, they're sent to a third-party printing company that prints them for us, and we actually don't have any communication with the customer whatsoever. The books are printed in only three locations of the world and then shipped. With our new store that we're pretty much experimenting with at this point, we actually can print the books closer to you, reduce your shipping costs, and hopefully save you some money. So if you're going to buy a book, check out the price on Amazon. check out the price on store.locatepress.com and you can order it there. We also have built-in bulk discounting. So if you order, I should have pulled the numbers up. If you order 5, 10, or 20 copies, you'll actually see real-time discount on your order, up to, I think, 20% discount. So if you need a few copies, you can probably get them here cheaper. So I look forward to your feedback on that if you've used it. Otherwise, you can go over to our main site where we sell the ebooks and find links to Amazon for any of the books you're interested there.